Hello my dear children, welcome in my SST class. In previous class we discussed about the chapter 3 motions of the earth. Okay, and we covered the rotation part. Today we are going to discuss the revolution and the phenomenon of the season. So the question is, what is revolution? The earth revolves around the sun in a fixed elliptical path. You know what is the meaning of elliptical? Elliptical means elongated, or we can say the stretch into an oval. Okay, oval like shape. Okay, so the earth revolves around the sun in a fixed elliptical path, and this path is known as the orbit. And this movement of the earth around sun in its orbit in an anticlockwise direction is called as revolution. I am going to repeat: the movement of the earth around sun in its orbit in an anticlockwise direction is called as revolution, and the period taken by the earth to complete one revolution is called calendar year or the earth year. You know that a year has 365 days and 6 hours. That's why we call revolution an annual motion. Okay, revolution also called as an annual motion. For convenience in making calendar, what is the meaning of convenience? Convenience means easy to do. So, for convenience in making calendar or avoiding the difficulties, the 6 hours are added up to become 24 hours as an extra day. Remember, the 6 hours are added up to become 24 hours as an extra day. This additional day is called a leap day. After every 4 years, the 6 hours add up to the month of February. Thus, it has 29 days instead of the usual 28 days. This is called a leap year. Okay? Now, we are going to discuss the effects of revolution. First one, phenomenon of the season. A season is division of the year marked by the specific change in the weather condition, temperature, and the duration of days and night. The four seasons, you know, spring, summer, autumn, and the winter, are closely related to the position of the earth in its orbit around the sun. They are caused by the inclination of the earth axis and its revolution around the sun. Each season occurs for approximately 3 months. Remember, my children, this also causes the phenomenon of solstices and the equinoxes. The solstice occurred when the sun is at its greatest distance from the equator. Solstice is derived from two Latin words, sol meaning sun and the sistere means to cause to stand still. The hemisphere which is inclined towards the sun receives more heat and light than the other, which is away from the sun. Equinox means the equal day and the equal night. The word is derived from the Latin words equi means the equal and nox means night. Days and night remain equal in both the hemisphere. Next one, the summer solstice. The North Pole is inclined towards the sun. Areas beyond the Arctic gets 24 hours of daylight. Areas beyond the Antarctic Circle are in complete darkness for approximately 3 months. In the northern hemisphere, days are longer than nights. The conditions are reverse for the southern hemisphere. It is summer season in the northern hemisphere and the winter in the southern hemisphere. 21st June is known as the summer solstice. It is the longest day and the shortest night in the northern hemisphere. The rays of the sun fall vertically at the Tropic of Cancer on this day. I am going to repeat that rays of the sun fall vertically at the Tropic of Cancer on this day. On this day means the 21st June. Next, the winter solstice. During the course of revolution, the South Pole is inclined towards the sun and the North Pole is away from it. The southern hemisphere has summer and the northern hemisphere has winter. The rays of the sun fall vertically over the Tropic of Capricorn. Capricorn means 23rd and half degree south. Tropic of Cancer means 23rd and half degree north. The greater part of the southern hemisphere gets the rays of the sun. So days are long and nights are short in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, nights are longer than days. The areas above the Arctic Circle remain in complete darkness for about 3 months. Areas beyond the Antarctic Circle gets 24 hours of daylight. 22nd December is known as the winter solstice. Now, the vital one, the equinox. What is the meaning of equinox? Already we discussed. So, equinox again divided into two categories: spring equinox and the autumn equinox. First one we are going to discuss the spring equinox. None of the pole is inclined towards the sun. The rays of the sun fall vertically at the equator. All places have equal length of days and night, as both poles receive the rays of the sun. It is spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. I am going to repeat. It is spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. The day 21st March is known as the spring equinox. I am going to repeat. The day 21st March is known as the spring equinox. It is also known as the vernal equinox. In your book, only 21st March is referred as equinox. Only for the further reference, you have to remember 21st March is also known as the spring equinox and also known as the vernal equinox. Got it now? Next one, the autumn equinox. On this day, neither the pole is inclined towards the sun. The rays of the sun fall vertically at the equator. All places have equal length of day and nights. It is autumn in the northern hemisphere. The day 23rd September is known as autumn equinox. So I am going to repeat again, the day 23rd September is known as the autumn equinox. So we are having two equinox date, 21st March and the 23rd September. Now, my dear children, we are going to discuss the last segment of this chapter, the effect of the revolution, the variation in length of day and the night. Okay, so revolution and inclination of the earth axis cause unequal day and night. Look at the diagram and please note how the numbers of daylight and hours each hemisphere vary at different latitudes in summer and winter. Okay, look at the diagram. Summer has longer days and shorter night, and the winter has longer night and shorter days. Equator has 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. So enough for today's class. We'll meet in our next class. Till now, bye. Happy learning.